Hi everybody, David Bott here from OutsideOurBubble.com, and today we woke up to something. What was that? Well, it's this right here. This right here is a rock chip. Now the rock chip, we didn't notice this before, and I said we woke up to it because obviously we had a rock hit and when we were driving, but we heard it, but we didn't see it, so we didn't think anything really happened. But as the cold weather came in, we noticed it. Brenda walked into the coach and said, honey, did you know that we had a crack? So, any case, yeah, so we have a rock chip that actually has now spidered out to a crack, and that is why we carry a windshield repair kit. Now, these windshield repair kits you can pick up off of Amazon or at Walmart or what have you, and they're cheap. They're 10 bucks, and you're thinking, Dave, come on, 10 bucks, how good can that be? Well, I will tell you that we've repaired this windshield 3 times so far with kits like this, so thus saving us time and energy, and if we had a big crack, which we've had before, we'd have to replace the windshield. This saves that crack from spreading further, having to replace the entire windshield, which in a coach like this is quite the process. I mean, literally a big process. We did a blog post on it, so go look it up if you care to. But anyways, I'm going to show you quickly how to use one of these, and we're going to try to repair that spot right there. Cool. Let's go to it. Okay, so the windshield repair kit. Now, there's many of these different brands on the market. This is the one that we happen to use. And what's it consist of? Well, basically, this is your placement. This helps you guide to where the crack is and keep everything in place as you're using it. Basically, this suction cups onto the windshield, and then this is the plunger which forces the material into the crack, and it screws into here like this, and you make sure this lines up with the windshield. This is the resin. The resin goes inside of this tube, goes into the tube, and then you use that to squeeze it. As you turn it, it forces the resin out the hole and into your crack, and hopefully will make it. It sounds weird saying crack. You know what I mean. The windshield crack. Any case, so the resin would be pushed into this. Now here's the important step. The important thing is you can't do this in direct sunlight because the UV is what cures this. And you don't want this to cure too soon. You want it to be able to seep in. So you cannot do this in direct sunlight. So if you're in direct sunlight, you need to use an umbrella or something like that to cover it so you don't have the UVs going through and hitting this as you're putting it in. So after you get it in and after you think it's as far in and as spread as it can go, then you reveal it to the sunlight and you let it cure. But anyways, this is basically the kit. These are the smoothing papers, which you do after the fact. And then it comes with a razor blade to scrape it all off at the end, to get it off the glass. And the instructions are pretty simple. But anyways, let's get to it. Okay, so now the first thing we have to do is we have to line up the device over the hole directly. So we want that little hole there to go right on top of that brake, as nice as you can get it, because that's going to make all the difference in the world. The alignment is the critical part. So I'm looking down the tube to line up directly over the hole, and then I'm pushing. Now what I'm doing is I'm turning this to push the plunger against the glass, creating a seal. And then I'm going to go inside and check it to see how it came out. Okay, so after it's all lined up, this is what it looks like on the inside. As you can see here, we have the hole from the plunger right directly over the top of where the rock hit was. That's where the resin will be forced in to hopefully fill in the cracks. So if we do our job right, this will work out great. So without further ado, we're going to go do that now. Okay, now this is more of the hard part because unlike a car windshield, these windshields on RVs are more vertical, and the problem being is getting the fluid to stay inside the tube. So what I did here is I put a little shelf here of tape, so if any fluid comes down and gets out, it won't go down the coach because it'll stick to that, and you don't want that to happen. You want it to stay on the glass so at least you can scrape it off. So I made a little shelf here. Anyways, here I go. I'm going to put this stuff into the hole. I'm going to squeeze some in there. And just make sure I got enough in there. And I do. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the plunger in. And you'll feel resistance because, of course, you're compressing liquid. Being careful again not to get it to go down the coach. And we're going to push that in like that. And we're going to let it sit now. So basically at this point, you just let it sit and you let the fluid get pushed in, and then you try to add more fluid again to push even more in, and hopefully that's going to be seeping into the cracks.
Push it good. Push it real good.
So we're going to let this sit for a little while, and then we're going to check it. So what do you do when you're waiting for this? Well, you kind of go like this. And why do you go like this? Because, well, you have to. Because once you let UV light from the sun hit that, that will cure. And once it cures, you can't do anything else. Even a professional chip repair guy can't come in and fix it because we already pushed resin into it. So that's why you're taking your chance using a $10 kit. But hey, like I said, we've used it 4 times so far on this windshield, and every one of them has been a success. I don't expect this one to be any different. So you do your little happy dance and you go, come on, work, come on, work. Let's do it. Please work, please work, please work, please work. Okay, well, I think the time is up, and I think we can finally see if this worked. So I have my paper towel here, and why do I have this? Once again, we don't want any drips. So here I go. I'm gonna pull this off. Gonna get a paper towel here just in case. Wipe off the residue. Oh, it's looking good. And now what do? Is you take the resin and you put a drop onto there, as you can see, I hope. And then you put this right over the hole. And you see it spread out. There we go. See it spread out? That's to basically put a glaze over the top of it. And so when that cures, that's going to cure really hard. And then I'll peel this off, and that's where the razor blade comes in. So right now, before that helicopter gets here, I'm just going to make sure this is nice tapped in. Make sure it's got a nice push on that bead in there. Make sure the fluid's in there nicely. And it's looking great. So we're just going to let this sit, let it cure, and then we'll peel it off later on today and see how it all came out. And from the looks of this, it came out great. Okay. That's it for a while. We'll be back, but, you know, in our time it's a while. For you, it's a blink. Blink. Okay, the sun's in my eyes, which means it's been baking on this for a little while now, and it's finally time to get this thing off because the sun has totally cured it, hardened it, if you will, and we're just going to go ahead and do that. So over here, you'll see we still have the plastic on there, and we're going to just peel that back. Look at that. And then all we're going to do is use our razor blade that came with it, and we're going to scrape off. See, this is the material you can't see. It's translucent, and it cures in the sun. And if you do this right, you won't even pinch your fingers. So it just takes a little bit just to work this off. And what we end up with is right there. You can see this is where the crack was. And you can see it because I just went a little deep on this cut. So I'm going to end up putting a little bit more on just to cover that up again. But as you can see, the crack itself is gone at this point. So the crack is gone. We'll take a look on the inside again to show you that, to show you what it looks like on the inside. And this I'll be able to cover up with just a little bit more material by letting it cure again in the sun. And that we won't even see that. I can feel it, which means I took off too much when I did that. So that's about that. We'll go inside and take a look. Okay, now we're inside and it's time for the great reveal. Now remember, I still had a little nick out there because I gotta go back out there and reapply another coating on it because I took a little bit too much off when I scraped it, but I'll make that all go away. So now, what does it look like? If you remember before and after, which I'll just show you here, here's before. Okay, and now here's after. So, as you can see, we did a wonderful job repairing this window. It really came out well, and because we use these kits and it's a big windshield so we get chips, we always carry an extra. So if you're going to order one, order two because you never know when you're going to need them. So in any case, I'm Dave Bott from Outside Our Bubble, and that's windshield repair. OutsideOurBubble.com. I crack myself up.
Crack up? Really, dear?